fantastic. Luana, thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. First things first, how's your day been? How are you doing today?
Thanks for inviting me, by the way.
No worries.
And well, how is it going today? I just woke up actually. I just woke up, took off my pajamas and appeared here.
Oh, well, that's even more appreciative that you'll be taking the time to do this after directly waking up. Well, I have to ask, considering the state of the world as well and how things have been the last, say, 15, 16 months, how have you been holding up throughout the COVID pandemic time? And
Well, since pandemic started, well, first we thought that it wouldn't last as much, so I was preparing myself like every day with the set list and hoping that I would be playing the set list live very soon. But as you can expect, I played the set list way too many times and no gigs in my schedule plan, so I kind of stopped because the album wasn't even released and I played it enough already to like want to play another one live, because I already played this one too much at home by myself. But yeah, I basically did this during the pandemic, just rehearsed our new songs. So when we start playing, I'm ready and learning new stuff. So the next album can be better from my end too. Always trying to get the next one better myself. And yeah, not doing much actually, just working for the band 24/7.
well, that's what's been keeping you busy then, just constantly working and working on the music.
Yeah, working on the music, working on myself as a drummer and other things that the band needs to get done, like art stuff, designing things, and
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff, really. All that a band needs to put out, we are doing ourselves. So, yeah.
No, that's awesome. It's awesome. It's great being able to do that because obviously, as you already said, a month has gone by and you think, okay, this will be it. And then another month goes by and next thing you know, we're a year and so on. What positives, considering the whole period has been predominantly negative, what positives have you been able to take out of it, if any?
Oh, definitely. I took many things positively out of this actually. When the pandemic started, I was just like, I didn't have time before to rehearse anything on drums, really, like to get better. I was used to play like just the same thing over and over and over because we were touring with Nervosa all the time. So I never had that time that you need to practice stuff that you're not comfortable with because you're just constantly live. You have to be comfortable with everything that you're playing. So during the pandemic, I took the time to like, okay, I want to learn this, and this. There are the things that I'm like not comfortable or not putting in songs because I don't have a full understanding of how it works.
Yeah.
And then I just practiced a lot. And this new album that Crypta released has a lot of things that I actually learned during the pandemic that I couldn't do before. And now that, well, the album was already recorded a long time ago, now I'm practicing other stuff because, well, we're still at home. So I still have time to keep going on my studies. So the next one will at least have more stuff that I couldn't do before, which is great for me as a drummer. I have time to learn stuff instead of just be playing the same thing over and over.
I mean, that's fantastic. That you've had the time to do that. I must ask then, so you're learning the new things you've been learning. What's your kind of process? Is it something you just do over and over again? Are you looking at specific, say, drummers, other drummers, and kind of trying to ape what they're doing and then bring it into your own style?
Wow, many stuff. Many things are happening to learn new things. Like, for example, I take at least one lesson per week with a drummer that doesn't play metal. So it's like completely out of my comfort zone because I cannot play anything that is not like very straightforward, I would say. So that forces me to do something different, to think differently. And then, yeah, constantly watching videos from drummers that I like, trying to get like an idea of, okay, this part here sounds really cool and I have no idea how to do it. So I go and ask for help for someone to help me understand that so I can practice. And some stuff are just like endurance things that you don't need to think very much. You just sit on your drum kit every day, no matter what, and do that till you someday feel like, okay, now I can play it comfortably and put it somewhere in a song. But many things, many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine a major part of it as well for you, as you talked about the endurance part, is also getting the stamina and the physicality that comes with drumming.
Yeah, I even stopped playing the set list, like I told you, because I was playing just too much and we weren't going anywhere. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so tired of this gig already that never comes. And then I stopped playing. And now that we're talking about maybe traveling to do something, maybe in the end of the year, like maybe a live something. We'll see if it's gonna happen. But I'm already practicing again because I stopped. And now I see that my stamina just went to shit. Completely to shit. I middle set. I'm already. Oh Jesus Christ, no. Now I see that I need to come back.
Hopefully when those first shows come back, it will be a nice short sets and just to kind of get you back into it. You won't be alone though. I think everyone will be in the same boat.
Yeah, I think even the fans will get tired after the gig is done because yeah, people are not even used to stand up anymore for too long. Pandemic, you know. At least I am not. I just stay on my computer all day long now.
No, yeah, it is the way of the world. And considering Crypta, I mean, you formed in 2019, June 2019. So you barely got into a year before everything ground to a halt. Now, during that first grind to the halt, the first lockdowns that we had in the world and around, did you kind of ever think, okay, we're not off to the best start here. Will we be able to overcome these hurdles?
Oh, very tricky question. When we started Crypta, we were still in Nervosa, and it was supposed to be like a side project of some sort. Like when we had the free time, which was very, very rare to happen, we then would think of Crypta somehow. Like maybe let's start a song and finish it in a year because we don't have time and whatever. It's a side project. And then we left the band, and pandemic came on. So yeah, then we realized that okay, we need to move on and kind of work in life because now we are like this is our only band, our only work. We do not have where to go either because it's pandemic. So we need to work on this like immediately. And then we started to work and overcoming the things that came as challenges slowly because we also were like out of plans for everything. As things were coming and we felt the need of like, okay, now we need to record because it has been kind of long, or now we need to do this and now we need to record something and this and that. Then we were like thinking on how to do it slowly because we are also like, you know, we're not working. So yeah, and we live far from each other. So everything is like a big challenge. Even to record a music video, for us, it's a lot of planning.
But regardless of that challenge, we are still at this stage now. And I mean, you talked earlier on, the recording, the creation of the album, the recording was in January 2021. It's a difficult point, right? What was the most challenging part for you to get the album complete? Like to have it done, recorded, and yay, it's done.
The hardest part. Never thought of that.
Yeah, because I mean, there's so many elements. When you talk about the distance and how you're, you know, and the fact that it's the pandemic, these images fly into my head of just a nightmare scenario that's taking you way longer than it should, you know?
Yeah, I would say, well, except for recording by itself, because I think it's the hardest part because I always need to like make too many takes till I find one that I like. Okay, this one is gonna go to the album. I'm always unsatisfied with my own work, normal. But except for that, I would say that pandemic was the second hardest thing on recording this album because we all needed to travel after months at home, kind of scared of catching the COVID thing because we live with other people. I live with my parents and they're old. So kind of don't want to catch it and spread to them here. So traveling was nerve wracking. And then getting there, everyone had like people that they wanted to protect at home, let's say. And the technical engineer had just had a baby. So his wife couldn't catch Corona too. So everyone was just like testing on the pharmacy and everyone was locked somewhere. So we got like it was a month of recordings and everyone was locked somewhere. We were like segregated in the studio. all wearing masks for as much time as we could, just not wearing masks to record and stuff like this. And yeah, it was a very difficult situation to like keep getting tested and take all the COVID measures while being inside a studio, because you never knew if, you know, maybe you ordered food and you got COVID and you're passing to a guy that has a pregnant wife, you know, so tricky, very anxious.
Yes, very finely balanced, and it's credit to you all, everyone involved, that you got it done and you got to this stage with all of that. Echoes of the Soul, where, well, we're less than 24 hours away from the release. When Napalm Records came calling, did that kind of increase your confidence and determination in regards to the music and what you were creating here? And you thought, yes, okay, we have this label behind us now. We have this band, we have the music, we're good, we're ready to go.
We had the music and no label first. And we thought that because Crypta was like just a new band, yeah, we were actually thinking that, well, we might save money and release independently, or we were even searching for like very small labels, just like distros, not really labels, you know, so we could spread the album afterwards somehow. And every of each, I don't know, English. now I'm confused. Well, all our plans were really small compared to what it ended up being. So we were changing them how things were happening too. Like we didn't know that Napalm would ask us to be our label. And when they did, we gladly accepted, because we thought that we would spend a ton of money releasing independently or just making like 200 copies of the album or something. And then when they took us, then we started to think, all right, then we need a better mixing guy. And then we got one. Okay, we need to master this properly. And then we got another guy. Okay, then if we're gonna do like this, we need someone to produce us too. And then we got someone. But it was just always like this, because we started this project as something so small and so much of a side thing, and then it started to take proportions that we were not expecting, which is great, but also lots of responsibility came in. Now we are more prepared because we know what's coming up, how we should be doing for the next one. But for this one, everyone was a little bit like, Jesus, it's getting bigger than we thought it would. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I can completely understand what you're saying. Did you find then it added extra pressure on you as a unit? I mean, bear in mind, obviously, all of you individually have stellar backgrounds. But when you've got Napalm there, and as you talked about, you have these extra responsibilities. Did you find that you felt that extra pressure?
I didn't feel pressure from the label or anything of that, because with Nervosa, we were Napalm Records too, and always worked with them. And they are a really, really chill label, I would say. They pretty much just support you and let you do whatever the band wants to do with their art and stuff.
Yeah.
But pressure, at least for me, I felt pressure more like from people, because people were waiting a lot for the band to be released, and we still had to do our stuff and record. Because when we released the band, announced the band online, it was almost not a band. We just had like one picture at home that I like photoshopped for us to put together, and the very homemade stuff. So yeah, I felt pressure from people waiting too much. I was just like, man, this is not gonna be like any kind of new death metal, not a reinventation of anything. It's not like gonna be new death or anything. It's just like some people that got together and like death metal and gonna release a death metal record. It's not supposed to be anything impressive or the greatest or anything. It's just a bunch of death metal people playing death metal. And then people, because of the weight that we put and the time that they needed to be there waiting for us, I felt like the pressure was getting higher. Like, oh my God, people are not waiting for a death metal record. People are waiting for something much greater. But the songs are the songs are written. So let's see.
Well, you must have seen the reaction to what has been heard so far, and it's been so universally positive, particularly from a fan base, some section of fan base that may have come across from the Vosa and now are very intrigued to hear what you're doing next. Have you found it to be quite positive from your side?
Yes. Also, listen. Well, also when we released the first music video and stuff, weren't expecting for the reaction that we got. Like I said, every single thing that we did, we expected less and less and less, and
Yeah.
actually got higher than we expected, which is good. I mean, if you're expecting small things to happen and something else happens, it's always great. It would be bad if we had high expectations, because then you're just waiting for too much. But yeah, it was better than we imagined, but gladly people liked it. I thought people would get disappointed because we didn't create a new kind of death metal, which is absurd.
Yeah.
But yeah, which is completely absurd. But I'm glad people liked the music that we created. It's just death metal.
Yeah, but it is very, very good death metal, and that is the most important thing. You said yourself, the innovation is in short supply. It's very, very difficult. And if you were to say, hey, we're a death metal band, but it's an innovative style, you'd end up isolating death metal fans because they wouldn't want you to innovate that much. You can't really win.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to innovate that much. I mean, this started just for me to play like death metal again and try to push myself, like I said, like study again to get somewhere else in my playing, because I was very comfortable playing the same things for years. So yeah, didn't start as anything like I'm gonna release something really impressive, and no, just it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna play death metal, whatever. just very regular death metal.
I feel like you're playing it down. And even though I've heard it, it was my listening pleasure today at work. Thankfully, I'm in a job that I can listen to death metal with no problem. And my opinion, it's fantastic and certainly well worth regardless if you're a death metal fan, it's just good metal. And that's the most important thing. It's good music played by a brand new band as well on their debut. And that's very, very exciting. Are you feeling a lot of relief now that we're at this stage where tomorrow, the 11th of June, it's out, it's there, and it's gone?
Absolutely. I cannot wait for this to be gone. So I can just practice the songs and wait for the gigs. But people already heard it. They have their opinion. If they like, they liked. If they didn't, it's okay. But it's gone. It's released. No anxiety anymore. Because every single single that
Yeah.
we released, yeah, I was like pretty anxious. People are gonna hate this one. People are not gonna like it. It's going down. And then people liked it. And in the second one, I was just like, no, this is too different from the first one. I think people like that vibe, and then it's not what they're expecting. And then people liked it again. And hopefully now with the album, people keep liking it like they have been. But can't wait for this anxiety to be gone.
No, absolutely. And to say, thank goodness we're almost there, excuse me, as well. So in regards to that then, I wouldn't say what's your expectations, because you've kind of said that already in regards to you think low, and then if it's bigger, it's going to be fantastic. But when the dust kind of settles, are you musically already in your head moving on from the sound of that album? You talked earlier on about continuing to learn new drum skills. I'm not so much saying like, oh, are you guys writing a new album already? I mean, this album isn't even out yet, but more in regards to where you're at, considering you wrote the album some time ago.
We're not writing yet anything new. We're just kind of working on the release, and there are so many things to be worked on that we're not having too much time to think on writing or stuff like that. Well, you gotta at least finish this job with the release now. And I would say that in terms of composition, we're pretty happy with the stuff that we're doing. Like it's not supposed to be also anything tricky or anything like those bands that you need to, I don't know, that it's harder really. It's not to be anything that is hard or tricky to be played. It's more like to be direct and straightforward, and we want some songs to be catchy, and those kinds of songs that everyone can, you know, headbang along to the song and stuff. So we are with that. I think we're comfortable, but we are also always trying to get better ourselves as musicians. Like yeah, trying to put more, always put more. Or
Yeah.
what can I say? Always do better ourselves. Maybe the song structures are comfortable like this, but we will want to do something inside that structure that is harder for everyone to play, because it's just you you feel better if you do something harder and harder each time. It's just how it works, I think, for someone playing, I think.
I think it makes complete sense. You always want to be kind of moving forward, even if it's baby steps here and there, and you're only learning or doing something new. You always feel like you're moving forward, and I think that's really important these days more than anything else. Because, as you know, you can't go out and sell 1 million records like you could back in the 80s and 90s.
Yep. Yeah. Every little thing is, it's like a prize that we get, that we know that we somehow moved forward as musicians and did our best. Yeah.
One of the things that I kind of took from the album is, and it's funny, you mentioned about catchiness, and it's fascinating to use the word catchiness with death metal at any stage. It doesn't seem quite to go together, but it is a true statement. And one of the things I kind of took from it was, oh my goodness, many of these songs sound like they belong in a live environment. While it's a great studio record, this track is going to absolutely slay, or this track's going to kill it absolutely live. Do you kind of get that perspective as well from the songs on the album?
Yes. At least I know that for me and Fernanda, I think it's for this, like this for the entire band, but because I have been working with Fernanda for so long, I know that for us it works very much like that. When we're writing music, we're already thinking on the live effect that it's gonna have. For example, every time that there's a break thing, or there is like a faster and a slower one, really slow part coming in sequence, we always think on the live effect of this, and how the performance is going to go around what's happening, and how we could put this song here, this and here, and maybe an intro so it creates an atmosphere or something. So yeah, we always try to think on making it fun live too, and not just playing stuff that, okay, I might be able to play this and make it really hard, but also live I'm gonna just be like with my head down and playing lots of attention, and playing, yeah, just playing like I'm in a studio recording again. And we don't want that. Of course I want to be playing trickier things, but I want to make it as comfortable as possible, to the point that I can put this in a live setting. Never want to make it uncomfortable, so live I can have my fun and my time and everything. It's very important that we have an energetic gig from all parts.
Well, yeah, I mean, I completely get what you're saying. You can have these technicalities and you can have this depth to your drumming sound and all that, but I as a fan, you want to be able to look up and catch eyes with the drummer, because you're able to take that moment where you're still doing your beat and stuff like that, but you're able to acknowledge and see and enjoy the fact that you have a raucous room full of screaming metalheads headbanging along.
Yeah, exactly. Like tricky to the point that we can play with lots of energy live. Otherwise, I just take more time to practice and do it later when I can do it.
I presume you cannot wait till the opportunity finally comes around to be able to get out and play these songs live on a tour or something.
Yes, and to also rehearse with the band, because we just had 3 rehearsals to basically play together for the first time. We were still a bit lost because we never rehearsed after we recorded the album. We just practiced at home with demos and stuff, and right away recorded. So then after the recordings, we actually practiced for 3 days just to see how it would come together. And it was a little bit messy because we all were like still memorizing stuff. You know, some of us recorded with sheets of things written down. So yeah, now we're gonna finally rehearse to have a live performance and thinking on how it's gonna work together as a band, and not just like everyone in its corner, like, okay, this riff, and then okay comes that, and you know.
That is going to be a fascinating little build you're going to have to do there to kind of get that synergy and to gel together. It's going to be an interesting year, I think, for you guys.
I hope so, and I hope no one catches COVID.
Of course, because that will put a span in the works. Last thing then, before you go, I will ask you this. Considering the unknown aspect of what might happen this year, you know, we can do what ifs to a blue in the face. It's irrelevant. But what I would like to ask you is, what's a goal or something you would really like to achieve this year for the band? It can be as simple or as complicated as you want.
Well, we have a lot of plans for this year. Like, yeah, we want to record many new material that we can keep on promoting to this middle to the end of the year. But it all depends on like if we'll be able to travel, if we will have the money that we need, and yeah, all sorts of stuff that just depends on us. So it's really uncertain, but I think a goal for this year would be to record all of this that we want to record, and get all these new promotional things to the album. Otherwise, we will be just kind of releasing what we already prepared. And it would be cool to have more stuff.
Of course, of course. I think the simple plea can be, world, give Crypta a chance to get their stuff together, let them rehearse at least together, and then get out and play some show live. I think that's fantastic. Luana, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for the interview. It was really cool.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror, and heavy metal. What else is life for?